Now I request Conference Co-Chair and CEO of National Disaster Risk Management Fund, Mr. Bilal Anwar, for his keynote speech. Sir, please.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you very much. Thank you to the Vice Chancellor Sir, who is also a mentor and a friend, and Dr. Imran Lodi for organizing this conference and inviting me here and giving us the opportunity from NDRMF to interact with you, with the faculty, with the students, and some of the other practitioners who are also in the room, and we have the opportunity of having kind of offline meeting this morning as well. So this is always a wonderful spillover benefit of all these interactions and conferences. So thank you very much for this opportunity, and thank you for organizing this conference. I think it is going to be an understatement, and it's going to be extremely difficult for me to express how happy I am on a personal level to be in this part of Pakistan, first time in my life, and so this is a kind of an exciting opportunity to observe and see that how some of the challenges you facing. At the same time, to meet and interact and mingle and mingle with the people here as well and see the society and at the ground level. So without really spending too much of my effort to express how pleased and happy I am, I think this is one of the unique opportunities. Now, the conference itself, when I actually come across with this idea that Dr. Imran really shared with me, so this immediately pleased me and attracted me, and for a number of reasons. One is very professional and personal as well. Being an economist myself, but having led into the climate change and the climate policy development way back a long time, so I haven't been able to disconnect myself effectively from the discourse of economics. But what I have been trying to do on a very personal level, that how to mix and how to combine and gel these two sciences together, and that's what is required. I very much believe that it is almost impossible to understand the impacts of climate change or to have the effective disaster preparedness, disaster risk management policies in place without understanding economics. Now, the theme of this conference was not only related to mainstream economics, but it is very specific and a very exciting and evolving discipline of economics, which is behavioral economics. So I had all the good reasons and I have all the incentives to actually come here and meet and be among you for this morning. Now, on an institutional level as well, having been representing the National Disaster Risk Management Fund, which is mandated by the federal government of Pakistan to build resilience Pakistan, to reduce the disaster risk, to minimize the impact of climate change, and of course to encourage and to stimulate the adaptation practices. And as Dr. said this earlier on in his address, so this region, this particular area is very uniquely placed when it comes to the interplay of the impacts of the climate change. So it's good to be here, and I'm sure in addition to kind of having these meetings, what we would like to do is to have a build up and discuss in a very concrete and practical manner the kind of partnerships which we can have with the Karachi University, with the student community, with the faculty, the wonderful work which they are doing, and how we as practitioners we can actually take this work and we can start implementing this work into our disaster description, climate adaptation, climate mitigation, disaster risk mitigation practices. So that's the main purpose of my presence here today. So I just like to highlight just few few kind of elements. It might actually sound a little bit theoretical, but being an academic institution, I think is the right house. This is the right kind of a forum to bring this up and having the opportunity to discuss these aspects as well. Now, no matter how lush green Islamabad is and how intellectually stimulating Islamabad is, but let me share this with you that we don't really get much opportunities in Islamabad, although the number of meetings, events, seminars and webinars, a number of those kind of events are happening. But we don't really get many of these opportunities when we are actually discussing the science of behavioral economics and gelling it with the climate action. In my about more than 2 years in Islamabad, I haven't really come across with any of this opportunity in Islamabad or any of the major cities in Pakistan. So Razi University is taking this initiative. I think you deserve all the congratulations and appreciations for doing that, and I think you should do that. And I'm sure that the research work which you, Department of Economics, and I'm sure the other departments are undertaking here, and I'm sure that you are inculcating that and you are cultivating that within the student community, and so this student community is going to become the practitioners, the experts, and the human talent which organizations and institutions like National Disaster Risk Management Fund is looking for, and is extremely keen to take it forward. Now, Rasab, you mentioned about the COP28, and in my previous life, I have spent more than 20 years in international climate diplomacy. Now, when we say that what is happening, what is the challenge, or what is the kind of a blockage which we are seeing and witnessing at international climate policy development or international climate diplomacy level. We know COP28 attracted more than 100,000 people, and there was a lot of vibrancy, a lot of discussions were happening, and the consensus which came out, or the outcome of the COP28 is called the UAE consensus. It is much celebrated, and this is basically being marked, or actually it's entitled as a new dawn, or the new era of international climate diplomacy. That's good. It certainly has pushed the policy development and policy action forward. There is absolutely no doubt about it. And I don't want to be very much disappointed about it as well. But at the same time, we know that not really much kind of a concrete action is happening. Just before the COP28, there was a synthesis report which was released by the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change as one of the key documents to the UNFCCC, to the COP28 regarding global stock taking. And global stock taking report basically says that we very much might have actually missed many of the tipping points on many of the milestones which the Paris Climate Agreement actually set aside, or the goals and the targets which they set aside. So the global emissions are increasing. The climate finance which is being made available to the developing countries is absolutely not sufficient. And similarly, adaptation, all the kind of a global program on adaptation has been agreed, but it's not really fully implemented because the financial gaps are just daunting and it's just too much, and no one actually knows where the money is going to come from. At the same time, what we are seeing is the increasing frequency and the intensity of disasters which we are seeing all over the world. Flood 2022, which many of the districts here in this part of Punjab you suffered, and similarly in other parts as well, in Balochistan and Sindh. And similarly in many other parts of the world, we are seeing the devastating effects that just keep on increasing. So I think a question for all of us, and especially having the benefit of so many students in the room, and the researchers and the faculty members, I think the question which we need to ponder is that what is happening? Where is the blockage? Why the international climate diplomacy and international climate policy development has not really been able to deliver what it was created, what it was established for? And there are several ways of looking at it. I might be having a very different perspective and dimension, and I'm sure that you will have very different perspective as well. But I think from my perspective, I just want to share with you from my perspective. I think one of the, just kind of lay out maybe two or three reasons. So I think one of the biggest kind of a challenge the policy is seeing is this inherent disconnect between the science and the policy. That's a one level of it, and the second is the disconnect from the real impacts of the climate change, and then how the policy is being developed, how the policy is being shaped up, and its international complexity. I think that's a real challenge, and one of the reasons for me to come to these places and remote areas is really to see and to understand. I have absolutely no shyness to acknowledge that my 25 years of career, an international career, might not have been able to educate me the impacts of climate change, which I have seen in the last 2 or 3 years in places like Khan or in Skardu or Gilgit or in other places when I actually have went down there and have met the people. So we should acknowledge that, and we should recognize that if we want to understand the effects of climate change, I think we need to go and speak with the farmers in Dera Bazi Khan, or we need to talk with the communities in Chitral, or we need to talk with people who have been losing their forests, or we need to talk with the people who have actually been at the forefront and they've been taking the action, and they've been actually doing the reforestation work, or they've been actually working with the communities and trying to sharpen up and trying to bring their probably resilience levels up. I think that's the best way to understand the climate change, and that's the best way to actually divide the policy and divide the practices. So that's one of the reasons, that's one of the biggest challenge which actually I have seen from international policy development, the disconnect which is from with the actual impacts which are happening on the ground. And this is not only related to Pakistan. We happen to be in Pakistan, we are sitting here, and I think this is close to our heart, and we should be actually analyzing, we should be relating ourselves to the impacts, of course, on the ground here. But this is a global issue, and we are seeing the impact in Africa, in Caribbean, in Latin America, and in all other parts of the world. And in some cases, especially when we're talking about the smaller and developing states, the impacts are even more devastating. It's even more severe. I know personally, I happen to actually visiting some of those islands in the Pacific or in the Caribbean, and where the science and the models and the analysis is showing that in a very few years time, those islands and those places where the people have been living for millions of years, they are not going to be in existence anymore. They will be lost, losing their places to live. So I think that's how devastating, that's how critical it is. So I think I'm here for a very personal reason, and I want to learn from you, and I want to basically educate from the people on the ground and those who are actually facing the brunt of it. Now that's the one aspect of it, and I don't have the solution. I'm just raising the questions, and the solution might be lying somewhere. I think we all have to work together, and we all have to come up and see that how we can actually narrow or close that gulf between the international policy development and what is happening on the ground. And it might take us a lot more effort, a lot more time. I think we should carry on and we should keep on our efforts and even speed up our efforts as well. Now, the other important aspect is, and this is again is a, you all are researchers, many of you are students, I think you will understand it much better. And I actually, I never had a courage to kind of express these kind of views in Islamabad and Lahore, where I don't have the luxury and I don't have the freedom of being among the academicians, because we policy practitioners, we see things and we see everything from a very different angle. So I think we all know that from purely from economics and a behavioral economics perspective, climate change actually suffered being a global public good. And that's one of the reasons. It's being analyzed very heavily and researched all over the world. A number of new books are coming, a number of new academic papers are coming, and basically saying that okay, it hasn't really benefited from being a global public good. GDP, that's what we call in economics terminology. So it hasn't really benefited from it, but it has actually suffered from it. It fits into the classical definition of the global public good, but it doesn't really benefit which should be there as well. So again, combining the theory with the practice, the disadvantages or the demerits of it is that the communities and the societies and the economies like Pakistan, we are really suffering, and which basically means that it's restricting our access to the global ecosystem. In practical terms, what it means is with, our agriculture yield is coming down, our biodiversity loss, desertification is increasing, and especially in this part of Punjab and Sindh, and similarly number of other impacts as well. So this is somewhat to a very large extent it is being recognized, but I think once again this disconnect or this kind of a curve between the policy and practice, that is one of the biggest hindering blocks, which is not really allowing the policy to come to close to the impacts of it. And that's where the role of us as practitioners, as academicians, as researchers becomes critically important. We need to bring this up, we need to bring it to the attention of the global policy practitioners and policy makers. So far, we haven't been able to do that. COP28, we have seen that, and this time Pakistan actually presented its case quite powerfully, and we were able to bring the Pakistan's narrative in terms of not only that we are the victim of the climate change and the impacts which we are facing, and the impacts on our economy and the communities and everything else, but we actually changed the narrative a little bit. And NDRMF was working very closely with the Ministry of Climate Change and other stakeholders, and we changed the narrative that what Pakistan is also contributing, what Pakistan is also sacrificing in terms of its economic losses and social losses and a number of other areas as well. And this has basically shown to the world that we are not only the victim, but we are also contributing in terms of taking the action. And we are part of that global community which is taking action and is very much keen to take action. So this is what we have done. And I think we need to do a lot more in the coming COPs, international conferences, a number of other forums as well, because the task is just far too big, and I think we need to come up with a smart and very sharp information and knowledge products and media campaigns which we need to bring into that, bring it to the attention of international as well as the national forums. So this is a role which I personally see that is extremely important, and we need to extend this, we need to strengthen this. In NDRMF, this is what we've been trying to do as well. Now, I'll take a little bit, maybe a couple of more minutes just to highlight. So I think just to wrap it up, just to sum it up about this kind of a conundrum or kind of a paradox which is there in terms of the disconnection between the policy and the practice. I think in this context, behavioral economics and its principal tools actually provides a lot of potentials. Nudge economics is a very well established discourse. It's a discipline now. It's being proven wonderful, and if we are actually a little bit keen and we actually open our observation, our economics observation. I mean, we all as humans are to a very large extent, we are humanly or economically rational people, and we see the application of it everywhere around us. And it might not be that much glaring, it might not be that much visible in Pakistan, but I have personally seen it in many other societies, and it's being very powerfully applied, and we actually can do it in the field of climate action as well. Cognitive biases, framing, and all these areas, I think those need to be further strengthened. Now, a very unique kind of a component of it becomes in the disaster risk reduction and disaster risk management practices. In NDRMF, we have the mandate, we have the federal government fund, we have a mandate of financing the interventions of the projects and the program for reducing the impacts of the climate change and preparing the communities for disasters. And we have been actually investing in a number of projects and the programs all over Pakistan, especially in extremely vulnerable regions. And while we've been doing a lot of construction-based and hardcore kind of measures, we have been vigilant, we've been conscious about how we uh, gel and how we combine nature-based solutions and the community-based resilience practices which have been practiced in those areas for a number of thousands of years, and we've been able to successfully combine them into our measures, into our programs. We are extremely proud of having done that, but at the same time, we do believe the limitations of it as well. We might not have really gone to the level which is out there. The potential which is out there, we really might not have been able to realize it and integrate into our practices. So this is one of the things actually which NDRMF in its new business approach, in its new business strategy, and its new strategic approach actually is going to be working and it's going to be integrated in a lot more integrated manner and coming up with the programmatic approach which actually combines the different aspects into this large set of the interventions and the activities which actually can bring the resilience into it. So this is something which we are actually right now doing. And here again, what I believe is this behavioral economics, the tools and the principles become very much important. How we combine these different disciplines together, how we come up with the different programmatic approaches, how we invest and how we actually set the limits of our investment in different areas. The kind of messages and the stories which we want to create and bring to the attention of the people, and at the same time to the attention of our donors and our different kind of stakeholders. I think this is all the powerful the tools of the behavioral economics which we are trying extremely hard to implement, to integrate into our own programs as well. And there I see the role and the potential for collaboration and partnerships with academia, especially with university here in Rajiv University as well as in many other universities as well. So what we would like to do is we would like to have those kind of a partnerships with the university here, and we would like to offer our technical as well as financial support in order to further promote these practices, and then to help us out in designing our interventions in some of the remotest areas in Pakistan, which are extremely vulnerable. I think that's the best way, that's the best approach to move forward in terms of the kind of a climate, the complex challenges which Pakistan is facing. So we are working very closely with a number of academic institutions. We are setting up a data center in Islamabad. The data center is going to be providing a lot of information as well as a modeling component, the modeling potential for decision-making purposes, for investment purposes, a number of other areas as well. We'd like to invite and encourage the university to come forward and work with us in order to help us to support and further strengthen these kind of measures. At the same time, we would like to encourage research and research, especially in complex science-based subjects. And I'm very keen, and the NDRMF is very keen, and those are the areas where we actually face the talent problems and the challenges. We are not able to find the good people and the experienced and talented people for those complex, complicated and difficult areas, science-based areas. So we do offer the scholarships for MSc research component of it and PhD scholarships, particularly for climate and disaster risk modeling areas. And this is something we would like to discuss with the university administration, and we would like to offer these kind of opportunities. We are running a kind of iconic what we call a talent cultivation program, which is in a simple term, it's an paid internship program where we are inviting the students and to bring them to NDRMF, to give them the opportunity to select one particular area and work for 3 months, and they actually come up with either a project idea or a project design or a policy framework or something of this, something which is which is close to their set of expertise and their related interests, and which is of course help us as well in terms of taking it forward as well. In our first round, we have been able to receive a lot of interest from remote universities like Gazi, and that's one of the reasons actually I'm taking every single opportunity and I'm reaching out to the remote universities, and so that I'm sharing these kind of initiatives which National Disaster Risk Management Fund is taking, and would like to very much encourage you to apply, and that can be a very wonderful opportunity where you actually take the knowledge you have gained in these classroom, you come and apply and further sharpen it, and this is going to help you in furthering your career up. At the same time, it's going to be helping the communities, it's going to be helping NDRMF, and we definitely guarantee you and we promise you that we're going to take your ideas very, very seriously, and you're going to see that some of your ideas actually escalating, evolving into the policy frameworks, into the project ideas, into the program ideas, and being attracted by the donors, and actually happening on the ground as well. I think it's going to be a wonderful opportunity for any young student or any young or fresh graduate actually to see their idea actually shaping up and coming to the real life. So this is something which can actually offer you, that will take your idea and will turn it into the real life. Thank you very much, Arsal. It's been really great to hear this morning. Thank you very much.